So hello everyone, it is me, Demetra K, and I hope you all are having a fabulous day. It is supposed to be Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. I think he will come on in a little bit. He is actually going through the airport. He's going back to California. He's been here for a little over a week, and so he had to go home. So hopefully he'll be able to chime in when he's all situated there at the airport. Also extended an invitation to Donovan if he has time to come on. But for now, it'll just be me, as it is the Demetra K Show. And so we like to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. And so I also like to say a big giant thank you to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but now you guys can actually click on the link when I give you the prompt to do so and give your opinion live. Now, I think I want to try something a little bit differently this week. I think I just want to have maybe one person at a time come on, so that way everybody can kind of just have their opinion and not, a lot of back and forth. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear, but I might try to do that. Of course, I'd like to see your face before I put you up on the big screen, so I can make sure it's not any nonsense. Of course, you guys know what happened about a month or so, or probably 2 months ago at this point. Very traumatizing. So let's see here. God of the Universe 7, how are you doing? He said, who values Steve's opinion? Well, we'll see. A lot of people actually do. And Beatface Lay, how are you doing? He said, Steve Harvey isn't lying. And Don, what's going on with you? Pam is jamming. What's up? All right. So he says, Black America has our own culture. Okay. Oh, B-Face, a month ago, or maybe it was like 2 months ago at this point. I forget what we were talking about. It was like a deep conversation. It was like, I don't know, maybe 8 people up on the screen and everybody's, talking and stuff. I can't remember what it was. And so somehow I got into, I guess, a white supremacist portal somewhere. And it's giving me the creeps to even talk about it. One of them clicked on the link and before I even saw his face, put him on the screen, and he did something very disgusting. And I'll save you the details because I don't want to gross you out, but it was very disgusting. I had to edit that part of the video out so that I didn't get demonetized, or even worse, my channel taken down, because it was nasty. So that's why I need to see everybody's face. Now, of course, I'll see your face before everybody else sees it. And then if you want, you could put your picture up or your emoji or whatever it is, so that you don't have to show your face. But I need to see it at first. All right. So let's see who else came on here. All right. So yeah, it was pretty gross. So anyway, I saw this trending on Twitter. It was that of Steve Harvey, and he was talking about I guess the dynamics between Africans, overseas, and African Americans here in America. Now, it actually stemmed from a conversation between, I don't know, I guess he's an activist. Chaka Bars was interviewing Burnaboy. I guess he's a rap artist. Heard of him, but I'm not familiar with him like that. And it was something he said that kind of sparked a big, giant conversation, all over the internet. And so let's see who else. Jan Michael, how you doing? It says, hey, and greetings, Africa. Although I always suspicious when African-American celebrities enter into a conversation of Africa. Well, we're going to see. So we're going to talk about that. And then somebody who is actually becoming one of my favorite TikTokers, we're going to hear from him a very comical way of telling us that we need some doggone life support. Pudge Nice, how you doing? All right, so let's go ahead and get to it so that we're not belaboring. What's up, Brother Reggie? Again, Walter is going through TSA. His flight leaves at 7, so hopefully he'll be able to come on. And I gave Donovan the link too if he wants to come on. But of course, I'm going to extend the link to you guys in just a minute after I show you guys these videos. I want you guys' opinion. All right, so here we go. Let's first put up Steve Harvey's video and his spiel, if you will. Here we go.
Stole nothing from us. They talk about Burnaboy stole this. No, we stole from Burnaboy. Them Africans is us, man. They the beat, they the rhythm, they the soul, they the hard work. We get our courage from them. When you see them people, they look just like your family. I was walking down Johannesburg. I thought I was in Detroit.
What up,
They
though?
walk like us. They look like us. They got moves like us. It's just, you gotta see it. And we gotta, my goal is to help bridge this gap, because we got to touch base with them, because they love y'all, man. You don't even know. They think y'all to catch me out. They think y'all to lick. You know why? Because they know what you went through. They know where them slave ship picked you up at. They know they brought you to a land. They know what they did to you. And y'all still over here shining. If we take this shine back over there and give them the love and teach them that dust, we'd have a powerful union, man. That has to happen.
Okay, so let's see. Remove that one. And then I'm going to actually show y'all, I guess, kind of where that conversation came from. And I see some of y'all, it's kind of even on both sides from what I can see in the comment section. Who else came on here? Lady Yefa, I hope I said that right. Says people love to minimize our culture when we are the force of blackness. Okay. And who else came on here? Beautiful Son 33 said, lie, King of Sorrows. How you doing? He says, no, we built different. And Earl Jones, what's going on? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm going to show y'all, I guess, kind of where the conversation came from. So here it is.
I'm here with a man himself, the African giant Burnaboy, and I want to ask you, why is it important that the diaspora come home?
You know why? Okay, let's use America for example, right? Because we can use anyway.
Yeah.
But let's just use America, right? Why do you think the Chinese American, has their respect, and they don't go through the things that African Americans go through? No, even though they might go through their struggles, I'm not taking anything away from them, but they don't go through what the African American goes through. You know why? Because the Chinese American has a base. He actually knows where he's from in China.
Right. And they have support from the Chinese government.
You understand? Like the Italian American.
They have Italy.
They know where their grandparents came from in Italy before. They know the first person in their family to come to America to start that line that made them Italian American. They know. You understand what I'm saying? And same goes for everyone else except the African American.
All right, so I actually want to play that first part of it really quick so we can hear actually what Chaka asked him. So here we go.
So I'm here with a man himself, the African giant Burnaboy, and I want to ask you, why is it important that the diaspora come home?
You know why?
Okay, so if y'all heard him, Chaka originally asked him, why is it important that the diaspora come home or something like that? And then Burnaboy kind of went to, it doesn't really sound like he directly answered the question. He went off on saying how the Chinese know where they're from, the Italians know where they're from, but the African American is basically the only group of people that do not know where we are from. Now, Burnaboy obviously is directly from Mother Africa. And so I guess when that video first came out, people were like, well, what did that even have to do with the question that was asked, right? It was kind of just like out of nowhere. So, of course, a lot of African Americans was insulted by that, because it's like, why did you take that opportunity to take a dig at African Americans? It's kind of what the gist that I got from it, basically saying that we have no base. And so Steve Harvey, going back to his video, he says, walking down the streets of Johannesburg, and I've been there, it says it looks like Detroit. Now, I would agree with that. It's black, right? It's black people, black businesses. And, of course, I don't know. It's just maybe just me. We could tell the difference between African Americans and Africans. We do look a little bit different, but we are all black, right? And so I agree with him in that it does look like it's somewhere in America, right? Then he also said that African people are the beat, the rhythm, the soul, and that we get our courage from African people, from the continent. And he also stated that his goal was to bridge us together, right? and basically for unity. That's kind of where he was going. And he also said that Africans love African Americans. Of course, you know, I'm not stupid. I just don't get involved. I've seen a lot of the back and forth between African Americans, or I guess you could say foundational Black Americans, and, you know, Africans directly from the motherland about who created this, that, whether it's hip hop or whatever it is, right? Oh, we're better than you, or we're better than you. It's like, okay. So I have seen that conversation. Now I want to know from you all, and you guys can click the link. It is on YouTube. I want to hear your opinion. I won't give my opinion just yet. I want to hear from you all and see what you guys got on this particular conversation. So the link is on YouTube if you want to click it. The only thing that I ask is when you come on, if I start to see a lot of people coming up, just to kind of keep your commentary to a minimum so that I can allow everybody else to come on. So it's in the YouTube comment section if you want to click on it. And I'll put it on there right now in this particular thread so you guys can click on it. All right, so I just put it in the thread. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section. And welcome to everybody that's came on. Let's see here. Pudge Nice says, "Nah, we're good." So you're talking about the video. And Beautiful Son, he says, they know they're 100% Africans and we are not. Okay, and I think that's kind of a part of the argument as well. And Leather and Luxury Cars, how you doing? Says, I don't dig him much, but that has the truth to it. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, kind of half and half in the comment section. Let's see here. And Deborah, how you doing? Says, no, I'm not going. Okay. And Beautiful Son says, we built this country. America is our home. Okay. And Pam is jamming says, biblically speaking, our people did not sell us into slavery. The Hamites sold the Israelites into captivity. Some of our people are so unlearned. All right. And then Pudge Nice says, Chaka is a tether. You know, and I'm going to say this to you guys. I don't really like that word much because I try not to get into name calling. I think that we are all here very intelligent to where we don't have to necessarily call people names. I do follow Chaka Bars on Instagram. And one thing I would say about him, regardless of where he is from, he is trying to save Black children there in the Congo that is war torn and a lot of things going on. There's a lot of orphans and things there. So he is, you know, made it his life's mission to rescue African Black children who have nothing and no one else. So I wouldn't like to call him a name regardless of what it is. But I love you though. Brother Reggie says salute to Chaka Bars. Absolutely. I mean, that man, he's doing so he's putting his money and his time and efforts where his mouth is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a lot of people that are on the internet, you know, they're saying stuff. He's actually got boots to the ground. So him asking that question, you know, I saw where Chaka was going as far as let's unite the diaspora. Burnaboy kind of took it somewhere else. So maybe he didn't understand the question. I don't know really what happened with that, but it was kind of bizarre. But I don't think Chaka had really anything to do with that unless there's more. And Deborah, you say she did not even know where when he's talking about he's just pulling words out of a salad bowl. And so who are we speaking of, if you don't mind me asking? And Leather and Luxury Car says, why should we stay in a place where we said, why should we stay in a place we built by force instead of going somewhere peaceful? So you're saying it's so basically, are you for going back to Africa or going to Africa? Because let's concede the point that there were Black people here already in America. In fact, there are Black people in America before Christ. I'm going to say Christ, and y'all know what your belief system is. Before Christ was born, Califians is actually what they were called, especially they were from California, Black Indians, you know, civilized environment, civilization, all that. They had everything going on. Of course, you know, when the colonizer came over, they didn't say, well, you were already here. We're not going to enslave you. They kind of gaffled everybody up, and even other Indians that were here participated in slavery. So Black people were already here. All right. Let's see. And Common Man 80, how you doing? So that's true. We don't know where we're from. And, you know, most people who African Americans, You have roots in, and let's be clear, even Black Indians are from West Africa. Their ancestors and they are from DNA is from West Africa. So it's not like, you know, they materialize out of nowhere per se. But if you know who the mother of civilization is, then all of that kind of makes sense, right? All right, let me get off of that. And beautiful Sonia says dark skin and copper tone color people were here. The so-called white water people. And Jen, Michael said exactly. And B-Face, she says, if we had a base, we wouldn't still be fighting for civil rights. Yeah. And then, you know, as Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you can't get civil rights until you get human rights. How you going to get that? And they don't, the people you, not you, I'm saying in general, that we are begging for civil rights. They don't even see us as human. So you got to be considered a human first before the idea of civil rights come into play, which is why it's called, I like to refer to it as the false idea of civil rights. All right. And then Common Man 80 says our base isn't slavery. No. So that is not, well, depending on if you're from here originally, you know, your ancestors, or your ancestors come from Africa, as such as mine do, right? We have found out that we are mostly Nigerian. That's where our ancestors came from. So let's see here. Beautiful Sun says, I know my roots. Okay. And Pudge Knight says, so what? They don't own their country. Yeah. And you know, they own more of the country than we do. You know what I mean? I think we can concede that. Now, I've personally been over to Africa, South Africa to be exact, Johannesburg, and it's about 90% Black people, Africans. Well, I won't say Africans because white people over there are Africans too. Black people and 10% colonizers, but it's the opposite as far as controlling and owning the wealth. So Black people in Africa own about 10% of the wealth, and everybody else owns 90%. So, yeah. You also say all Black, but China runs them. Yeah, I mean, but you know what? We got the same situation. Africans, they got people going over there, Russia, China, and everybody else. Now you got Kamala and, you know, Biden, Americans are going over there talking about, oh, we want to foster a relationship with Africa. But we know what it is. They're also trying to join Russia and China and gain a stronghold on the continent. So it's the same thing over here. Black people, I mean, we got people who run us, whether we like it or not. All right. King of Sorrow says, my reparation in America, I ain't budging. Yeah, me either. I want my money too. And B-Face says, B-Face, it says, you can know your roots, but you are still discriminated against in America. Absolutely. Discrimination doesn't say, well, before I am a horrible person to you, do you have ancestry here as, you know, Black Indians, or are you from the motherland? Yeah, I just want to make sure before I do something to you, right? So, and Earl says, that's no excuse to treat people worse than dogs. Even the Romans didn't treat their slaves as America treats Black people. It's insulting to say, no, your heritage is a reason for genocide is BS. Oh, well, I didn't say that. I hope, you know, you don't get that from me. But no, I totally agree. I can't think of any other people, enslaved people, as such as our ancestors, that were treated the way our ancestors were. I mean, in hell, we are still being, when I say we, I mean people of our Black people now in modern times, we're still being treated that way. I mean, we hear about our people being lynched, still, you know, where was it? Mississippi, Rasheem Carter's what his name is. Rasheem Carter, the brother, that head was kind of, guess it looked like it was decapitated, and his skull was taken off, and you know, the rest of his body was dismembered. So, I mean, that was in 2000. Well, actually, it happened to him last year, but they're just not talking about it now in 2023. So we're still kind of going through the same stuff, right? And B-Face says unity is going home and letting these crazy white folks deal with themselves. Yeah, I totally agree. Where there's more of us, I think we'll have more power. But see, the problem is now we, when I say we, the diaspora is now fighting with each other. And it's like, if I was white supremacy, I don't know why my thing is pixeling like that. It's like my hands are disappearing. If I was white supremacy, I'd be like, look at them fighting with each other. We ain't even got to make them do it. They doing it on their own. So it's kind of like their master plan is working perfectly, and they don't even really have to do nothing at all. And Pudge Knight says, we are going back south once the check clears. Well, I don't know if you know, but the majority of Black people in America are already in the South. You know, like when we first started off here, depending on where your ancestors are from, right? Most Black people do live in the South now. So again, you guys want to click the link and come on and give your opinion. I'd love to hear it. And Beautiful Sign says, I meant tan, not tan. He says, oh, ran, not tan. Okay, got you. Let's see here. He says, Taki C. I hope I said that right. Taki C. I hope, forgive me for that. He says, we are not them. They are Hamites. We are not. Okay. Pudge Knight says, agree, but he's non-FBA. So you talking about Chaka? Where, I mean, at this point, what difference do it make? That man is over there doing the work of God. He is saving children. You know what I mean? Sounds like he could be doing a whole lot of stuff other than what he's doing. I mean, he's, you know, in danger himself doing that. So whether he's foundational Black American or not, what difference does it make? And B-Face, you say Stockholm Syndrome. Thank you so much, beautiful son. And B-Face, you also say, I'm more Nigerian than anything, which proves I come from the motherland. Yeah, so same here with my family. And Common Man 80 says there were two markets during that period. One to where as our people were sold, the other to where as our people in the United States were kidnapped as children, hence the Black market. Absolutely. Damon, how are you doing? It says positive vibes to the chat, looking beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. And Leather and Luxury Cars, it says them folks can have it. I'd rather go to a place with people that look like me instead of trying to hold on to something that will never be ours again. I totally agree. When I was in Africa, I went with Donovan and my daughter, and it was just so peaceful there. I found a lot of peace there because, for one, we were amongst our people. It was nice for a change to be able to spend money with Black businesses. You go outside, there's Black faces, and there's Black people everywhere, right? Working everywhere. And it was just nice. And I was like, wow, we're going to go back to America, Babylon, and it won't be this way. You know, when I get back, I'll have to search for, you know, at the time I was living in California. I'm in Houston now, so there's a little bit more Black businesses, but I'm like, I'm going to have to search for Black-owned business, you know, and all of that. So it's just a different atmosphere. And a real 9040, how you doing? It says Black people, African Americans are Africans. Yes, we both have cultural differences because we had to conform to our own due to circumstances, but the blood in your blood that contains your DNA links you. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, if you know who the mother of civilization is, it's Black women, Black woman. The oldest person they found on the planet was a Black woman. I mean, don't you think we all kind of related to some degree? Let's see here. You also say this whole divide and African American versus African is all agenda of National Security Memorandum 46. I have to look into that. And Deborah says, sorry, he didn't know. Okay. And Thaki C says we were always all shades of brown. Absolutely. And Pudge Knight, she say Israelites settled in West Africa, then we were sold into slavery. They were never our people. Well, do you know who the mother of civilization is? See, because I guess I kind of get where you're going, and I understand why you're saying it, but you know, I'll say this as best I can. 2-3 years ago, they was our people. Can I ask you? And I would love for you to click the link and have a conversation with me. What's changed? Why aren't there our people now? Y'all remember when we was Pan-Africanist and we was repping red, black, and green, and you know, it would play X-Clan in the morning, all that other stuff, and now all of a sudden they ain't our people. Can I ask you what happened? Click the link. I want to have a conversation with you. Let's see here. A Common Man, he says they tried to enslave the American Indian, but they wouldn't be enslaved, right? And so they were also afraid that the American Indian, when we say American, well, I'm talking about American Indian, not Black American Indian, but the other ones. And in all fairness, there was other people here too, like South Americans, Asians. But the other Indians, they formed an alliance with the colonizers, white people, the massa, because white people were afraid that we would form an alliance and then overtake them. So Of course, sure, there's a lot. You guys know a little bit more about that than I do. Hello, love JJ. How you doing? It says Demetri K. Hey there, looking beautiful as usual. I appreciate that. Thank you. And let's see. Common Man says wrong. Most of our people were shipped from Nigeria, but we are all not from Nigeria. I never said that we were all from Nigeria. I just said that my people were. Devin, how you doing? Says Common Man knows know the history. Oh, so y'all talking to each other. Okay, I'm gonna stay up out of that. I love JJ. Says sadly, much of Africa's government is giving away their resources and land. What the F is going on with our people? Yeah. Well, you see what's going on with our people. A lot of it is because we're not unified over here, and we're not unified over there, and we're not unified together. Y'all know Marcus Garvey was trying to unify the diaspora. Now, in the last year or so, I've seen people talking greasy about Marcus Garvey. I'm like, damn, Marcus Garvey ain't safe either. Wow. All right. And let's see. Jan Michael says exactly what it is. It's BRICS versus GG7 money. All right. And let's see here. And a Common Man, you say most of the Africans in America are from a people called the Bantu people, which is from the southern and central parts of Africa. All right, well, go on with your bad self with the history. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just telling you what I do know. Love JJ says exactly. They are laughing at us, sitting back, just watching and laughing. Of course, it's a white supremacy. It's like, look at them Negroes. We train them good, Carlos, what's going on with you? Yes. That is my background, Madam C.J. Walker, an inspiration. And you are the modern day Madam C.J. Walker. Yes, you are. We are waiting for all the wonderful stuff that you have going. Yes, indeed. And Pudge, nice as fact, the South still black. Yep, it's most of us are. Hell, I'm here. And I never thought I would be, but I am. Applied knowledge, how you doing? He says parents. Patri, I hope I'm saying it right, is a term used to describe how the government turned everyone with a birth certificate into chattel straw man. All right, so I kind of heard a little bit about that. Honeydew, how you doing? And PGH, Big Dog, how you doing? Thank you so much. And Ariel, you say all this Hamite Shamite nonsense is belief, not facts. If you say it is, show me evidence of them actually existing. They told y'all hate Africa, and now you're using the Bible to push a shake in my damn head. So I think you probably were responding to someone else. Yes, B-Face, the Eve Jean. Absolutely. Love JJ said that's a good point. When I see melanated people grouped together in celebration or just kicking it, there's something it does to my heart. We are beautiful together. Yes. Doesn't that make you feel good to be amongst your own people? I'm not going to lie to y'all. When I'm around a bunch of white people, my spirit, my soul is bothered and I have to move. You know what I mean? I have to get away from them. And I've always been that way. And I always have to explain it's not intimidation. It's, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm bothered, that's so I really love being around my own people. Damon says too much stress in these divided snakes of America. For the Black First family. Yeah, and it's very sad. And D's, how you doing? I ain't gonna read the whole name. Says finally the truth is getting out there, for we are living in tons of revelation. He said the world will know that we are the children of the Most High. Absolutely. PGH Big Dog says Africans became anti FBA. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of seen. It's the whole thing is just sad. It's sad. Like when I watched it all unfold, I was like, is this really a thing? Are we really fighting amongst each other? As it's like we already got a lot of enemies. Do we need another one? It's like this. It's like the example of sleeping with the enemy, right? I would imagine. So I don't know. That whole thing kind of took me aback. I'll just be honest with you. BFS says it's called white fear. And Freddie B, what's going on with you? Says one of the reasons FBA versus ADOS. Yeah, that's another one's like, ain't that kind of the same thing? I don't know. Let me shut up because I might want to get myself in trouble. Brother Reggie says, I was born in Detroit, but I know my Gullah, Geechee, South Carolina, and West African Sierra Leone roots. Man, we Africans stop the division. I agree. Jan Michael says Africa isn't giving away anything. Africa is paying off extreme debt. Yeah, and it sounds like a lot of other nations are trying to invest into Africa and helping them pay off debt, from what I understand. So, you know, they're like, here's a little money. Now let us get a little bit of more of a stronghold. And if I'm not mistaken, the ANC, the last time I heard, maybe it's changed now, had a Chinese woman sitting on the, what do you call it? Within the ANC, the parliament is what it is. So I don't know if that's still a thing. And Miss D, how are you doing? It says, we've been here 400 years. All the accomplishments are on the soil. We don't hate Africans. We are a different group, period. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm understanding. You know, there's a different group. Yeah. Mama Deb, how you doing? Says some of us were already here and some of us came on the ship. Yeah, that is absolutely the truth. We all did not come from Africa. So, but I know that my ancestors did, but not everybody did. Honeydew says neither one of them know whose story they telling. Oh, that is funny, but you might be on to something. Earl, you says, I agree with you, Demetra. It's good to be around your own. Absolutely. Sean, how you doing? He says, I'm late. What Steve Flunky, I think you say? He basically said that, and I'm paraphrasing that, but Africans in Africa are the originators kind of us. He says that the beat, the rhythm, the soul come from them, and we also get our courage from those in Africa. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Mama Deb says most of us came from the ancient people to the Americas, the Mississippians. So y'all come on with the history. We, as Black people, are from everywhere. And I just think that's kind of a given, right? And Common Man, he says, we must remember what Harriet Tubman said when she said, I could have freed more of my people if they only realized they were slaves. Nothing has really changed. Yeah, you know, and we are still doing the bidding of massa, the bidding of white supremacy when we fight amongst each other. Because I always say, at the end of the day, police officer pulls you over. I mean, unless he can tell the difference between an African and an African American, he ain't gonna say before I beat your head in where you come from, you know, who your people is. He's not gonna say all of that. He's just gonna get the whooping ass, and then you'll find out later, right? So I don't know. And Pam's Jammin says, Demetra, would you be open to interviewing Bishop Nathaniel of IC to explain who we are, because some of our people are non-believers of the Most High God, Israel. We can't be this unlearned. Is that the one that Brother Phil has interviewed a couple of times before? Yeah, I'd be interested, but I will tell y'all this. Y'all know me by now. I'm not religious at all. I do not follow any sort of religion. I am familiar with religion. As you guys also know that I was born into the Nation of Islam. Then later on, when I was like 12, my family, once my mom remarried, we converted over to Christianity. I am neither at this point, but if I had to say, I align more with that of the teachings of Islam. So I just want to kind of put that out there. But sure, I entertain it. Jan Michael says, Miss K, extremely uncomfortable. I know the feeling when around those people. Yeah, it's just like, yeesh, you know, very uncomfortable. You guys ain't clicking the link. What's going on here? And let's see. Mama Dad says, it's not division when people claim who they are and not who you say they are. Yeah, I mean, I don't have, me personally, I don't have any problem with a person saying, this is who I am. I think what makes me itch more than anything is when I say, okay, this is who I am, but you know, you are this and you are that, and you know, just like all of the infighting, right? Because at the end of the day, can't nobody tell you who you are. Oh, you know who you are, right? But I guess the problem I have is with everybody else trying to define other people and saying, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. Is like, aye. We got Black people, we got so much stuff to do. And now we put other stuff on our plate. Like, do we need to be fighting with each other regardless of where we come from? And Mama Deb, I'm not saying it's you, but I'm just saying in general, Do we need that extra thing to do? You know? And Damon says, give a look at Dane Calloway's channel. He gets deep in this subject. I keep saying I'm gonna look at his stuff. Reginald, I'm sorry, how you doing? And Asia, hope I said it right. It says, yes, Brother Phil interviewed him already. Yes, so okay, I'm familiar with his content. We're talking about Bishop Nathaniel. And a common man, he says the continent of Mother Africa owes 644.9 billion. The United States owes 30.93 trillion. Let that sink in. That's a lot of Skrilla, to say the least. And Sean says, us as so-called Black Americans survived and made our own history in United States. He says Africans didn't help us. Well, yeah, that is true. But, you know, I guess, you know, and I will say this too, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yeah, you know, Africans are our brothers and sisters, but we still should be about the business of our people over here, right? Like, until we are aligned and unified and got our thing running, we really can't be over in Africa trying to help them until we help ourselves, type of thing. So it's almost like when we help ourselves, then we can think about branching off. But until the Black man and woman in America have what we need, yeah, we shouldn't be focusing on anything outside of us. Now, whether they helped us or not, I don't think that they have. And I don't think it's, you know, make you a bad person to say that, because we also know that Africa, they got their own issues going on. You know, I mean, some parts of Africa, they still got slavery, or, you know, well, we got it over here too, but like for real. And Asia says, Asia, he says, I had assumptions of who I was until I found out the truth. Yeah, and that's, you know, you said a word right there, because, and I'm not saying your particular situation, but a lot of Black people in America, we were told who we were until we really got knowledge of self, right? A lot of us do not have knowledge of self. We don't really know who we are. So I totally agree with you. And Common Man says African Americans spend over $1 trillion. That is true. We see the numbers kind of vary now, but it has been said that it's about $1.3 trillion, and we give about 97% of that away. Now we're just talking about Black people in America, and we give most of that away to everybody else. And so we can start there, you know, by helping ourselves, by trying to keep some of that money within our community, having it circulate more, right? And so that's one thing that we can kind of do to help move the ball forward. Rodney, how you doing? He says we shouldn't deal with them. I only help my African American people. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to deal with them eventually. But I think the point being is that we need to help ourselves first, and that's true for anybody, right? Whether it's Hispanics, Asians, anybody else, because they do that. They help themselves first. They don't think about helping everybody else, and that's the way it's supposed to be. What do they say? First law of nature is self-preservation. You got to help yourself first. Help your people first. But Black people, we've been taught to help everybody else, help them get what they need, and we negate everything that we need. And so I totally agree. And that's not a dig on the African people, because they do the same thing. You know, I live here in Houston, and there's an African community, and they are amongst themselves, you know, because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what you call group economics. So Black people in America, we need to do that. We need to control our and operate or whatever our own economy. We don't do that. And let's see here, Kenneth, and you guys can click the link if you like. Kenneth, how you doing? On Facebook, he says, when I see what the Jewish people do with the one nation, I can't help but to think what we can do with an entire continent. Ali and professional boxing were onto something when they put the rumble in the jungle. Absolutely. They went home, right? But yeah, like you said, everybody else, they do what they need to do. What's stopping us? Because I'll tell you this right now, regardless of how you feel about African people in Africa, they ain't stopping us from practicing group economics. Are they coming over and setting up shop in our neighborhoods and sucking the resources out, and then we go in there like zombies and give it to them? Are they doing that? I mean, they're probably not. We know who's doing it. It's not Africans. It's everybody else. And so, yeah, we can organize against the African, but at the end of the day, they're not making us give away our money. And some of the other things that we specifically do amongst ourselves, right? Let's see here. Asia, you said, I've had conversations with elder Ghanaian scholars, and they told me that just because we were dark nations of people didn't mean we were the same people. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I get it. I totally get it. But I mean, again, if you're going back to the mother of civilization, I mean, we connect somewhere, right? Now, obviously, it would be a very, big, long gap between that, but we connect somehow, I would imagine. I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, that studying history that far back is not my strong suit per se. And Robert, if I didn't already, how you doing? He says, we are the original man and woman, and we are indigenous to this planet, but we come from the best part of the planet Earth, and that is Mecca, Arabia, and Egypt. So teaches Elijah Muhammad. Absolutely. Which is partially why Muslims take one of their pilgrimages, or the pillars, rather, Islam, the pilgrimage to Mecca. I was about to say something, but my dad might be watching, so I don't want him to know. Let's see here. Earl, you says charity begins at home. Absolutely. You got to take care of home first. Period. I always use this analogy. Let's say I got 5 pieces of bread, right? I got 5 people in my family. That's all we got, but we going to eat greedy. We're going to eat the toast, or the bread rather. And then your neighbor comes over, says, hey, how you doing? Oh, it's been really rough. Listen, I need 5 pieces of bread. Can you give me 5 pieces of bread? Now, if you say, yeah, then what are you going to eat? Air? You know what I mean? So in that case, you would say, listen, I would love to help you, but I got 5 people over here that need those 5 pieces of bread. However, if I come across something extra after my family is taken care of, then I will be more than happy to help you. But if you really think about how we as Black people in America operate, do we not do just the opposite? We're giving away 97% of what we earn every year. We are giving away our 5 pieces of bread to everybody else. And they're talking about, oh, I sure is hungry. Stomach's growling and everything. So, I don't know. Common Man says the continent of Africa didn't even know about slavery in America until recently. The white West kept the information to themselves. They did not know about the transatlantic slave. Yep. I mean, that's plausible. Because, back then they ain't had no internet. Or television even. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of common sense, right? And hence your name, or Common Man, but I throw the common sense in there. Otis Thomas, how are you doing? Let's see here. You say, beware, Steve is the same man that told Monique to get the bag. Don't worry about your pride. Yeah, he did say that, but, I'll just take it in account what he was saying in regards to Burnaboy. There's there was anyway. I don't know how much of a debate it is now, about us not having a base as Black people in America. And let's see here. Asia says the Ghanaian elder told me that his people were the people of Pharaoh from biblical Egypt, and the African Americans were the slaves in Egypt during that time. 2 different nations of people. Yeah, so it's really depending on who you believe, because we know there's people who have a whole lot of other accounts, and I'm not saying any of them are not true, but there's a lot of things that are true at the same time. But that is very interesting. I agree with you, LJJ. And Common Man says the people on the continent of Mother Africa, let's see, Mother Africa were never taught about slavery in America until recently, like in the last 20 years, 100% fact. Okay, so taught or no? Because I know there's a difference. So did they know about it? Because I would imagine that they would have, right? Because you're saying the last 20 years, well, we know even in South Africa with apartheid, that was what, in the 90s when it ended. So I'd imagine they knew something about slavery here in America. But learned versus being aware, I don't know. Maybe we're talking two different things. And Asia says the ancient Egyptians hieroglyphics tell it all. So yes, well, I mean, we know those were our folks too, regardless of what they say in Hollywood, right? They had wasn't Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra and all of that, right? So we know the truth. Let's see here. And Brother Samuel, how you doing? He says, what did you say about Mecca? Well, I said that is one of the, and of course, you can tell me if I'm wrong, the things that Muslims have to do in a lifetime. And that's one of them is the pilgrimage to Mecca. And I was going to say something about my father, but I'm not going to say it because it's kind of a surprise in case he's watching. So, Albie, how are you doing? You guys can click the link. I'm not going to bite. Y'all scared? And I'll put it back in the chat just in case you guys didn't see it. It's pinned on. It's actually pinned on YouTube. So if you guys are on Twitter, I guess I don't know if you can watch it from there, or Facebook, it's pinned on YouTube. And I'm going to put it here in the chat. Oh, it says here in Chicago, African Americans have a South Side area of 75th, Michigan, the 75th, and Cottage Grove with stores. Many Africans come there buying food, herbs, no issue. Yeah, I mean, when I was in California, there was an African store. I love that African store. And then one day it wasn't there anymore. So I don't know if it just didn't get support. I mean, I don't know why it closed, but I love going there and buying things. So, and I never went in there and thought, y'all Africans. I never thought that. I was just like, okay, they black. I'm going to go in there and buy something. So I don't know. TY, how are you doing? It says, you are so true. Okay. And Extreme X, hello. And Robert says, yes, our ancestors in Egypt built those pyramids and set up those larger than life statues of themselves, showing us who we are and where we originally come from. Absolutely. And Asia says, if you look at the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, the slaves in Egypt were all manners of colors, from Dominican and Mexican shades to African American shades. That's us. Yeah. We are not all the same color. Just like you hear sometimes people say, black people didn't have blonde hair. It's like, well, it depends on where you go on the planet. There are black people with blonde hair and blue eyes. So Common Man, he says, we have to realize the continent of Africa is almost 4 times bigger than the United States. Absolutely. Sean says, Steve Harvey, Hollywood carrier, is dead in the United States. He is shucking and jiving to get a bag in Africa. Yeah, from what I understand, he lives in South Africa now, like half the year, Johannesburg to be exact. Yeah, I think, and I'm not, if you guys have ever been over there, then you would understand why anybody really would want to live over there. It's just like, wow, this is a whole different atmosphere. It's almost like the stress just goes away. Let's see here. And Brother Samuel said, absolutely. And Robert, he says, our ancestors who built the pyramids in Egypt knew we were going to be enslaved in America. So they built the pyramids and the statues to remind us of who we are. Of course, you guys, my father told us a story from young children about how Napoleon Bonaparte went over there and blew the noses off of the sphinxes, if you will, because they reflected that of a more of an African nose with the wide nostrils and stuff like that. And Omelec statues in Mexico, they also look like African people or black people. So Common Man says we have to realize the content of okay, so yeah, I read that. Let's see here. Again, if you guys want to click the link, I'm going to switch gears in just a minute. Lemar, how you doing? He says, Miss K, I just want to know how come everything we FBA folks accomplish and achieve, we got to credit it to Africa. We're not lost. We know who we are. Our grandparents and folks are. Well, we don't have to, or you say we to FBA. I mean, you don't have to credit it to anybody other than yourself. I mean, I get it. I get that there were black people already in America. So I understand that. I just think most people who may be giving some pushback or maybe saying, well, that's where our roots are from, the motherland. So I think that's kind of where the pushback is, but we don't as far as Black people in America and the things that we've accomplished, we don't have to give them credit. Just like there are things that the African people accomplished in on their continent, they don't have to give us credit, right? And Earl says, Demetri, you are related to Maya Angelou. When I see you, you remind me of her. You know, that's interesting. I typically get Nina Simone for some reason, and even Bahamadia. So, you know, we're probably all related, but thank you. I take that as a compliment. Let's see here. Arniba, how are you doing today? And Jan Michael says, not aware unless half of a century ago wasn't common knowledge throughout the continent. All right. And so you're saying they didn't know at all? Like, there was like, oh my God, there was Black people enslaved in America. Is that where you're going with that? Jason, how you doing? He says, good evening, Demetri. Did you hear about the young man dismembered allegedly by the hands of white men in Mississippi? His name was Rasheem Carter. Yes, Rasheem. I actually did a story on him on the African Diaspora News Channel last week. I did hear about it. He basically sent his mom a text saying that if something happens to me, it was my boss. They didn't say his name yet, but he was working on a construction site. Sounds like he had a restaurant that kind of went belly up during the pandemic. So he was doing some work in construction to earn some extra money, and he happened to be in Mississippi. And he sent his mom a text and basically said, if something happens to me, the boss is responsible, and he's going to have the guys that I work with do it. Then his mom was like, okay, well, you need to go to the police station and tell them what's going on. And he did, and the police did not help him. And they found his body dismembered in the woods or a month later. And so the authorities there were like, well, it doesn't seem like foul play. Maybe something happened to him. Some animals got to him or whatever. But then when they found his body dismembered and they saw a photo, because I guess on that trail they have cameras, and they saw photos, or I guess video of him running through that area without a shirt on right before he was reported missing. So now they have to say, oh, well, we're going to investigate, because clearly it's not what we lied and said it was. And I'm just going to say allegedly is my opinion. I think the police have something to do with it. And, we're not stupid here in America. We know that the police and KKK, they are the same people, right? They switch from one uniform in the daytime and back in the other one at night. So the same people, but very unfortunate. I'm hoping that his family gets justice, and the people who did it are brought to justice, because you can't do that to people and get away with it. Well, they have, but it shouldn't be that way. All right. Robert, he says the Kaaba in Mecca, Arabia, is Black, and it was put there by our ancient ancestor eons of times in the past. The Kaaba is called the ancient house of God. The original Arabs are the Black Arabs. Okay. And DG says, facts, we are already here. And Asia says the European colonizers made sure they hid that part from the nations of Africa so they could always look like the savior instead of the oppressor. Yeah, I buy that. But in the last 20 years, they just get knowledge of Black people being enslaved in America. I don't know about that one. That I'd have to actually really see some evidence on that one. Sean says, I think the worst thing so-called Black Americans did is let everyone use our civil rights bill up to uplift their people. Yeah, I've heard that argument before, but was it really ours in the first place? Or was it just an illusion? Because what has improved for Black people since the inception of our so-called civil rights? What did we get other than integration? And then how has that helped us so far? You know what I mean? So, yeah, but I will agree with you on that. Everyone else did benefit from that bill. So if it was for everybody else, then how can we really say it was ours? So you make a good point. Stacy, how are you doing? He says, hello from Inglewood. Yes, indeed. And El Boogie, what's going on with you? And Curly Girl, how are you? And Brother Samuel says, I can see Nina Simone now that you mentioned it. Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. It was like, okay, I love Nina Simone. And Jason says that story is catching steam. Look out. Yeah, so I did actually cover that story. But it does need to get more attention, because how does your head get dislocated from your body. And then they said his other body parts were not together either. So how did that happen? And you know my other theory is too? He was working construction. Might they have used one of those tools, you know, to saw him apart? Because if you saw the skeleton, it's like the top of his head is just cleanly removed. So what did they use to do that? I would imagine it was some sort of construction equipment. I would think. I don't know. I'm not a forensic scientist, although I used to want to be a long time ago. And then I heard there was a lot of math involved. I was like, okay, never mind. Let's see here. Stacy says, I believe the police weren't on it. Yeah, I think so too. Sean says, I would never visit Mississippi. Yeah, it's Mississippi. It's rough. That's just like the dirty South. Like I would be kind of concerned to visit there too. Although I do know people who live there. And Sooty Man, how you doing? Says they definitely had something to do with his death for what it sounds like cover up. Yeah, because you know they didn't even want to help him when he went into the police station. They just kind of shrugged it off like, you'll be all right. Ain't nobody after you. And then of course, you know, we know what happened to him. Brother Samuel says Blue Klux Klan and Ku Klux Klan. Yep, the same people, very same people. Robert says the name Africa is from a white man. Scipio Africanus, a white Roman general, is not our father. Oh no. So what is the original name for the mother continent? You know what? I knew it, but I forgot it. So you're gonna have to tell me the original name. But Africa is not the original name. So I just want to concede that. And Tanel, how are you doing? It says, grand evening, Queen Demetra in chat. Black first. Absolutely. Welcome, welcome. And Stacy says, the illusion of inclusion. Yeah, that was civil rights. You know, you get to, as my friend Donovan says, now y'all get to eat seasonless soup with white people. You know, we wanted so badly to eat in the same diners with them and all that other stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe I would have had a different thought process back then, but me being, you know, here and not being born of that time, I'm like, ain't no way I would be eating nothing they making. They didn't want to serve it to me in the first place. Oh, hell to the no. I hope our people didn't eat it. I don't know. Maybe it was just performative, like, we belong here too. I hope they really didn't eat that stuff because just the thought of it. Big hair. How you doing? He says Ethiopia was the original name for Africa. Actually, it was something else too, right? It was another name. And don't ask me because I don't remember. Let's see. Common Man says the evidence is in the knowledge that a large part of the continent does not have. And let's see, comment cut off. So maybe you're gonna finish it. And Sean says the civil rights leaders let white women add gender to civil rights bill. And yeah, and that was also the case for affirmative action because there's a lot of people who have now, you know, civil rights, LGBTQ, other minorities, which is why Dr. Claude Anderson told us not to call ourselves minorities. Now they have this other thing, people of color. We should not call ourselves either. We should really make a distinction because as we see, you know, with civil rights and the affirmative action, everybody else benefited from it but us. Like we still have not benefited from none of them. Like, yeah, a few of us might have went to school, got preferential treatment due to affirmative action or maybe a job here or there, but nothing major that helped us move the ball as Black people. So absolutely. And Albie, you say this is uncommon of those Southern construction sites. Is it? Or you mean as far as what to hire Black people, or like what's uncommon? Or say it isn't uncommon. Got you. So it isn't uncommon. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. He must have really needed money because I couldn't see continuing to work for people who, you know, may try to do something to me. Because obviously he was very concerned, you know. And let's see. Yes, I'm put it up here. That's the name, original name. And how you doing, Willie? Original name of Africa that I know it to be. So thank you so much for that. Akeem Boulan. All right. And CMOS 357, how you doing? He says their master plan is to divide us and conquer. Let's be smarter than that. I agree with you totally. And yes, Willie, thank you so much for that. And I'm sure I'll forget it again because my memory is like, but I know that Africa was not the original name. And Earl says, I think the original name of Africa is Ethiopia. Or yep. So yeah, you have people saying both. Yep. So you guys are saying, you guys are kind of going back and forth. And how you doing, Troy and Nasaj? I hope I said that right. How you doing? Who else came on here? All right. And Robert says, actually, our ancient ancestors who made the planet called the planet Earth Asia. That is true too. We named it Asia after the great explosion that split the planet Earth from the part called Moon. So I have heard that as well. And Otis, she say lots of blacks didn't agree with economic integration, supporting white economics during King time. Yeah, so it's like, but how did that end up happening, right? Because I've heard Dr. Claude Anderson tell the story that his family actually owned the bus line. He said, so it's not like we didn't have a black-owned bus line, but somehow we wanted to go ride the white bus line. And he said that put them out of business once segregation ended and, black people didn't have to ride in the end of the bus and all that other stuff after the boycott was over, that a lot of the black transportation companies went belly up. I mean, I can't think of any black transportation companies, even in today's time. Can you guys? I don't know. I can't. And Tennille, he says, I just watched a broadcast where the employer of the young god is playing victim, like they always like to play, saying he and his family are in hiding because of Tyree's murder. So you talking about the Mississippi situation? They're saying that somebody's playing victim. Is that what's going on? Because I know, from what I understand now, they haven't actually given the name of the employer, maybe for legal reasons. Beats by Dizzy, how you doing? He says the true spelling is, and I'll put it up here. So we're kind of having a differing of opinion, but I see most people saying that it's Kibalon. All right. And Robert, he says, we are the original Asiatic black man and woman, and our original language is Arabic. So teaches the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We come from the best part of the earth, Arabia and Egypt. So, I've heard that teaching before. My father is still in the Nation of Islam, has been there since he was 19 years old and is a grand 79. Just turned that this month. So he's probably one of the oldest members. He's one of the OG members of the Nation of Islam. So absolutely. And Big Hair says most black businesses went belly up. Yep, exactly. Y'all know what one of my favorite movies is Lackawanna Blues. Have y'all seen that movie Lackawanna Blues? And toward the end of the movie, his name is Ruben. I forget his last name, but I guess it's a true story. He explains, basically once segregation ended, all the black stuff just dried up, and it was obviously by his grandmother who, had a black business, for lack of a better word. She had a boarding house and it was very active and she helped black people and, things like that. And he just said once integration came in to the picture, the black neighborhoods just dried up, everything. And we haven't recovered since. Lackawanna Blues, one of my favorite movies. Mama Debbie says, there used to be a black bus station in Acres Home in Houston. See, ain't that crazy? And no more. So that's what I'm saying. Like, where are the black transportation companies? Because it's not like we didn't have them, right? Like back then, we had to have our own stuff because white people wasn't trying to do business with us. And there is I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's a video called How to Sell to the Negro Market. And it was actually put together by, was it Johnson & Johnson? Not Johnson & Johnson, but the Black Johnsons. They actually produced the video, if you will. And it was basically telling white people, basically I'm paraphrasing. I know y'all can't stand those Negroes, but money is green and they have lots of it. And this is how you sell to them. They like fashion too. So you let them come into your shop. Or like it's a thing. It's like on YouTube. It's called How to Sell to the Negro market. It will blow you away. Like, damn, that was during the time when segregation, I guess, might have been ending, or, you know, a conversation anyway. But they're like, hey, shoot, I know you don't like them, but they got money though, you know. Stacy says, I don't give a damn about the white man being in hiding. So is that the one that's in hiding, the one in Mississippi? Let's see. She said, that's my issue with MLK. We lost a lot of black stores and schools in the South. Yeah. Unfortunately, he kind of woke up when it was too late. He was like, maybe that's what we shouldn't be doing, which I kind of think he knew all along, but maybe he was just like, okay, this is really getting ridiculous, right? And Earl says, who is in that movie, Demetra? What is her name? Patha Murthison. Terrence Howard was in there. Macy Gray was in it. The guy whose movie is it's after, his name was Ruben. I can't remember his last name. But there's a whole bunch of people in this movie. A whole bunch of people. Lackawanna Blues. If you haven't seen it, you will love it. It's a great, great movie. And the guy that played in Jimmy Smith, he's in the movie as well. So there's a whole bunch of people in the movie. Jamaric, how you doing? He says, Monopoly, do tell. And Robert says, Aki Balam, you say is the Arabic word for Africa, and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that Arabic is the black man and woman's original language. Yes, indeed. Curly Girl, he says, we had Atlanta Airlines too. Ain't that something? Now we got a Spirit. I'm just playing. And you know what? Spirit is my airline, okay? I got a credit card and everything. I'm a frequent flyer of Spirit. I don't care what nobody say. I'm getting on Spirit. It's cheap. As long as the plane don't crash, I don't care what people do. Just give me my book. Let me get my very little crowded seat, and, you know, I'm going to chill out. So let's see here. And Troy says, yes, I have seen that movie. It's a good movie, huh? And Arniva says, John Johnson, yes, of Ebony Magazine. Yeah, that particular Johnson, they produced the movie for white people to figure out how to get our money. And Stacy said, yeah, you saw the video. Yep. And Yanni, how you doing? It says, hi, everyone. MLK wrote a book about this called Where Do We Go From Here? He did acknowledge segregation was a mistake. Yep. And Tennille, he says, my fault, Brother Rashim, the employer's name is, so they named him, huh? Luke Clemens. So he in hiding. I mean, you should be. Because you think about it, why would the brother text his name? You at least, like, let's say this, even if you didn't do it, was you messing with him to the point of where he's running to the police station because his mama told him to, after he texted her and said, hey, if something happens to me, this man did it, and he had, you know, these dudes doing it. It's like, come on. It's a matter of time before they find out that they're complicit in what happened to him. But I just don't think Rashim would have said, I mean, I didn't know him, but it just seems kind of odd that he put his name, said my employer had something to do with it, because obviously somebody said something to him, like, we gonna get you, boy, or whatever, right? So I don't know. And if it's a construction company in that area, I'm sure they're familiar with the police. They're probably buddies. They probably go out and, you know, and burn crosses together. And Stacy said, wasn't Denzel in it? No, Denzel wasn't in it. And the other brother, very dark chocolate brother, Delroy Lindo is, and I probably said that wrong, but Delroy is his name. Very dark-skinned brother. He was in that movie as well. And he has a few people in that movie. All right, let's see. Thank you, Beats by Dizzy. And Tanil says, says SWS is saying he and his family are in fear for their lives. I mean, shouldn't you be? How do they think Rashim felt running through the woods, you know, running away from them? How did they think he was laughing all the way? You know, like, can't wait till you catch me, because I just can't wait to see what you're going to do to me. They should be in fear. Now they see what it's like. Just like those, you know, devils in Georgia with Ahmaud Arbery. You know, it was fun and games until they got caught. and they were in fear. It's like you should be in fear, you know. And Lee Marie says, I remember that movie. It's a great movie. It reminds me of Charlotte, North Carolina, my hometown. Yes, it is a great movie. I want to. It's hard to find for some reason. Like you gotta rent it, I think on Prime or something like that. But it's a great movie. Leather Electric Car. You say, I love Spirit. Shoot, I love Spirit too. And Robert says, no, Dr. King wasn't too late. The enemy killed him when he was waking up. So they didn't want him to wake the rest of his people up. Yeah, because he was very influential amongst Black people. And again, you know, he was part of the Big Six that took a lot of money from the Kennedy administration to just kind of go back, you know, tell them, you know, yeah, we shall overcome type of thing, but don't really overcome, right? So yeah, he was kind of in on it. No, Wesley Snipes wasn't in it either. I don't think he was. No, he wasn't in it. Somebody was Macy Gray. Oh, and Rosie Perez, she was in it as well. Was Rosie Perez in it? I think Rosie Perez was in the movie. And the Hula Gang, what's going on with you? Says they sent a ton of non-Black immigrants and handed their money and had, it's an H-4 money and grants, and they helped hurt our Black businesses with cheaper prices. So you talking about African people? Is that who you're talking about? But let's say that you are talking about them. How could they hurt our businesses with cheaper prices if we were unified with our money? I mean, African Americans, we are a hell of a consumer, and we are a force to be reckoned with as far as the money that we spend. And so if we were spending with each other and building businesses and things like that, I mean, how could they really hurt our business, you know? Because you ask ourselves, how are we hurting their businesses? We're not hurting their businesses. We're actually helping their businesses, because if you can't find African American business, you're probably going to go look for, I mean, I would, an African business. You know, I went a restaurant out here called the Blue Nile. It's an Ethiopian restaurant. It's very good. And I'm like, you know, every time we go out to eat, like when my brother was here, we ate out quite a bit, unfortunately. I said, let's find a Black-owned restaurant. And we did. Everywhere we ate was a Black-owned restaurant. And it's easier to do, you know, in the South than it is in California. Let's see here. And Tanelli says, blaming the mother. And Stacy says, I don't care about him being in fear. Also, they're blaming the mom. I mean, what was she supposed to do? Like, keep it under the, keep quiet. Like, all right, listen, my son is no longer here. In fact, we found him decapitated and, you know, his arms and legs missing. But I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to say who he told me might have done it. I'm just going to be quiet, because you know what? I don't want white people to be scared. Even though my child was scared, he was, you know, scared out of his mind. I don't want them to, I just don't want them to feel that. It's like, give me a break, you know. But that's how they are, though. Well, I just don't understand. Like Carolyn Bryant, you know, she's high now. She keeps moving everywhere because the Black Panther Party is like, knock, knock. Here, you thought she could escape us, huh? So it's like, you should be on the run. You should be on the run until you get 6 feet deep. Why do you get to live a life of being unbothered after you cost the life of a child over lying? You know what I mean? So yeah, they should be scared. It's like, the hell? What, you think you should just be able to go and walk around like Disneyland? Like, you know, it's a beautiful day out. We, you know, allegedly, I'm going to say that, you know, took the life of a Black man, and, you know, everything was just good. So he should be afraid. And I hope they don't get no sleep at all. I hope they're living the life that Rasheem was living when he was running from them. I hope they are living that life. I hope that their heart is beating, and I hope that they're having palpitations and all of the above until they are caught. So that's Walter. I'm glad you made your flight on time. Let me unmute you.
No, I still have an hour and a half. I'm good.
What time did your flight leave?
7:30.
Oh, okay, you good. All right, so I'm gonna put you on mute. So actually, you came in at a good time, because I'm gonna play a video for you guys. You guys are going to be cracking up. But this guy here, he's telling the truth. He's becoming one of my favorite TikTokers. So I'm gonna put you on mute for just a second. All right, so let's see here. AFJ, how you doing? It says Steve Harvey needs to stay in his damn lane. We are not African Americans, okay? Says we are indigenous Americans, okay? There's a lot of Black people who have ancestry that was already here. So you're absolutely right. And Earl says, laugh out loud, stay in his lane. That's funny. Stacy says, we have quite a few Black-owned restaurants in Los Angeles. Yeah, Los Angeles, yes. I mean, I think even now more so, right? There's some that are coming about even more so, which is good because I think California has less than, and maybe Los Angeles too, 6% Black people. And Yanni says the lady from Law and Order. Yeah, Patha Marthason. That's her name. Yes, that's her. She should have gotten an award for that movie. She played the hell out of that role. And I actually had somebody said that I remind that role. I remind them of that role because it's a long story, but I felt where she was coming from with that one. The Hula Gang says Asian and Mexicans, the government gave them money and we had to work for ours. There was that was handed money to have businesses. Yeah, that is true. And Tanil says they said she set off a firestorm. I mean, that's what I would have did. If my baby would have turned up that way, beheaded. Yeah, I'd have started a firestorm too. You ain't gonna get away with doing that to my child. Absolutely not. And she also was like Emmett Till's mom, Mamie Till's. I want the world to see what happened to my child. This was no animals that did this to him. Yeah, it was an animal, but it wasn't walking on 4 legs. You know, it was on 2 feet. So yeah. Yeah, that's the white media for you. Let's see. Robert says, we are the builders of this country, but we are not Native Americans. They have their own identity and we have ours. So there are Black people that were or Indians back then. They call them Califians, especially from California. So, and KR, how you doing? Says Terrence Howard was in it also. Yep, he surely was. He always played a joker in those movies, but he played the mess out of that role too. And Big Harry says, I'm on my way. If my baby say some issues popping off with my truckload, yeah, I mean, you ain't gonna be quiet about that. Buck Horse, how you doing? And Common Man says, I was on the plane. The phone with my son when he went into the police department asking for help. Tiffany said, they gonna tell me he never told them that someone was trying to harm him. His mother stated, yeah, I mean, it's like, so he just went in and said, hey, I'm just passing through. Never mind these beads of sweat on me. And, you know, I'm out of breath. I'm just going to say, how y'all doing? Y'all want some donuts? It's like, quit lying. You know damn well why he went in there. Because ain't no Black man walking in no police station unless he absolutely have to be there. So, you know, it's like, all right. And State says they better be glad it was not like it was in 1992 where white folks were being attacked and hiding in their homes. Yeah. Well, you know, you keep forcing the hand of Black people, it gets set off again. And let's see here. Who else can? Sherry, how you doing? If I didn't already say, Steve Harvey is a clown and a bootleg. I do not listen to no celebrities at all. Yeah, you know, we don't want to make them our source of information, you know, because we know that the government, everybody else props them up as the leader of Black people, but they don't do that to white people. We couldn't name one white celebrity that is leading white people or Hispanic or Asian that's leading white, you know, their people. It's only us that has a leader that happens to be a celebrity, right? And so we should be careful of that. And Lee Mars says, are the brothers still selling barbecue on Crenshaw? I love South Central. I haven't been there in a while. I would hope so, but you know, a lot of gentrification is taking place. So, you know, they don't be wanting that to go on. They want it to be, you know, pristine, you know, where the people with money, white folks and all them can go. Yes, indeed, Buckhorse, you are here. And Asia says those original Californians were native of this land, just like the Tainos people. Don't understand that the natives were all different shades as well, not just John Wayne looking Indians. No, absolutely. Yeah, that's some Hollywood stuff, right? Common Man says, I'm African American. I am 3% Iroquois. It says on my father's side, my mother's side of the family escaped from slavery and lived with the Iroquois in the 1700s. You know what's funny? I learned, maybe this is just me being silly, but I learned about the Iroquois Indians through my favorite band. Okay. Jamiroquai is my favorite band of all time. And they merged jam, like jamming, with Jamiroquai, because I guess JK, the lead singer, is partially Iroquois, I would imagine. But it's my favorite band. I've seen them 3 times. And if you get to see them, if they ever come to America, I was like, I don't care where they go. I'm going to go, because they actually were going to play Coachella. I think it's 2019 or something like that. And they did play Coachella. Snoop Dogg was up there and stuff. And I was like, well, I don't really want to see nobody else. And the tickets were $500 to go see them. And so I was like, all right, I'll pay the $500 to see them. And just so happens they were going to be playing in San Francisco after they played Coachella. So I took my nephew, because my daughter was going to school in San Francisco. So I took my nephew, one of Walter's sons. We flew to San Francisco for the day, and we saw them, and it was just a good time. So so Stacey, you like Jamiroquai too? If you are a Jamiroquai fan, you know and love good music. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. So yes, let's see here. Big Hair says the police know they were in on it. Oh, absolutely. Buckhorse says, yep, just keep forcing your hand. Don't cry when it hurts. Exactly. And Otis says, I wish the brother would have live videoed himself walking to the police station and whites following him. Yeah. You know, and what's crazy is hindsight, right? Hindsight is a hell of a thing. You know, they say there's this thing called fright or flight. Now, I'm one of those people, just naturally, I have a flight instinct. I just do, right? And some people have the fight. And so maybe he was in fright. And I would imagine most people would be like, oh, damn. Like, never in a million years would I have imagined like a truck full of, and I'm sure they was in trucks, white dudes saying they're going to kill me after me. Like, what do you do, right? You running through the woods and all of that. So he just probably, maybe he was like, I can't, I don't know, right? But yeah, you would think, but it's like until you in that situation, you just never know. So anyway, all right, let me see. I'll read the rest of these comments, and I'm gonna put this video up. And Jameric, I hope I said Jameric. He says, that's the second time I've heard the band mentioned in my life. I'm gonna look them up. Man, when you look them up, you're gonna be like, why haven't I heard this great music before? I'm telling you, it is my favorite band. Walter and I actually went and saw him for the first time. I introduced my whole family to Jamiroquai. We went and saw them at the Greek. Oh gosh, when was that, Walter? Like 98? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on a second. There you go. What was it?
Oh my God, that's because Jeremiah was supposed to go. That was
98. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, we love Jamiroquai. All right, let's see here. Robert says the original Native Americans were dark skinned. Put you on mute again. Dark skinned and dark reddish with straight hair, and they still have some left in New Mexico. They took those videos off the internet. And Brother Reggie says, fun fact, JK tried out to be the lead singer of the Brand New Heavies. And that's on my bucket list too. If I ever go, I get a chance to see the Brand New Heavies, they just need to step foot in America, right? I'll go wherever they are. Brand New Heavies is, and you're right, they are the blueprint for all of the acid jazz and stuff that we hear now. They say lead singer of the Brand New Heavies before he started Jamiroquai. Love Jamiroquai, absolutely. Brand New Heavies, boy, you can't go wrong with that. And Incognito. So yeah, let's see here. Otis, it says the way the Hispanics attacking blacks and Hispanic councils are being racist in LA. You think black on black crime would be down 90%? Yeah, black on black crime. ALJ says there's a difference between a Native American and indigenous Americans. Native means you existed somewhere else and travel to another landmass. Indigenous means you are original, the first, I think you meant. And Asia says, I remember them back in the early 2000s. Music was very different and authentic. Yep. You'll know Jamiroquai sound. A lot of people have been influenced by them to this day. So they usually tour overseas. They don't really come here often, but when they do, I'm there. And Buckhorse says, interesting. And Common Man 80 says, I'm a fighter. My feet too big and my legs are too strong to run. But no, some people just naturally have that. type of thing. And they, they get frightened. And that's not to say they don't eventually come to it and be like, okay, this is what I got to do. But I'm one of those people. I get freaked out first. And let's see. Yeah, it was 20 years ago, at least. Buckhorse and Stacy says, I like the brand new heavies too. Yep. And KR says, Future made, he said, Future made virtual insanity. Which Future? Which Future was that? That's actually the song that put them on the map in the United States. It gave them global fame, right? But they've been around together. I want to say like 88, 89, 90, something like that. They were they had an album. Actually, they had 2 albums, I want to say, before Traveling Without Moving. That's the name of the album that Virtual Insanity is on. So they had 2 albums before that. Emergency on Planet Earth and Space Cowboy, I think. All right. So anyway, Jamiroquai. Jamiroquai. So all right. Anyway, I'm busting a sweat talking about Jamiroquai. Y'all gonna make me have to go listen to him when I get off. All right. So I'm gonna put this up, y'all. It's about 3 minutes long, but I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I actually played one of his videos yesterday when he was talking about the women with the eyelashes. I like to say he's one of my favorite TikTokers right now. So, and Lance, how you doing? He says Jamiroquai is a British funk house group. Yeah, more like acid jazz, but they do funk. Influenced by Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind, and Fire, all of them, right? So, yep, absolutely. All right, here we go.
Let me say something to y'all. I'm sick and tired of y'all black folks dying. Y'all dying rapidly. All right. And you ain't got no damn life insurance. Please invest in some life insurance. Undertaker tired of fooling with y'all. And you ain't got no life insurance. Invest in some life insurance. All right. I get tired of some of y'all black people saying, especially some of y'all ignorant black men, all right, talking about, I ain't gonna pay for all that insurance. Left all that money back here for somebody to spend on. If you got a wife, talk about, I ain't gonna left all that money back here. Well, my wife to spend it on another man when I die. You ought to want to leave something behind. You ought to want your death to be an asset rather than a liability. All right, and folks got to do a GoFundMe just to get you buried or cremated. Okay, cut that shit out. All right, find somebody that you like, whether it's a family member or friend. All right, and leave something behind for them, even if they got to pay the policy. All right. You want to take some insurance policy out on me? You going to pay it? I'll sign it. Let your death be an asset rather than a liability. See, white folks have $2 and $3 million life insurance. So when they die, they family is set. But y'all black folks, something wrong with your mind. You don't want to leave nothing behind. You don't want nobody to gain nothing off of your death. But see, life insurance is for the living. It ain't for the dead. That's why they call it life insurance. L-I-F-E insurance. They don't call it dead insurance. They call it life insurance. It's for the living, not for the dead. You ought to want your death to be an asset rather than a liability on your family.
So his name is the House of Common. Oh gosh, the House of Commons, I think, on TikTok. But oh my God, I happened upon him the other day, and I was like, oh, I love him. But y'all heard the man. Y'all heard the man. He said it's ignorant to not have, a life insurance. And he said, I didn't say it. He said, black men. He said, I'm so tired of y'all. Talking about you don't want to leave your wife nothing because if she died, you don't want her to spend it on nobody else. And of course, he says we should not be having to have GoFundMes to bury us. And he's right. He says that's what the white folks do. They get $2 and $3 million policies, and they not only are able to bury their loved one, but they're also able to leave a legacy. So he said we also should be an asset because when you die and you don't have life insurance or any money, you are a liability. There's been some of everybody's had to figure out how to bury somebody that did not have their financial affairs in order. They up and died, right? And the family is figuring out, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, we can go to the Dollar Tree and get some soap and some sponges and some rags and, have car washes or, have Auntie Lolo or whoever, fry some fish up and then sell some fish plates. But it's like, that's when you become a liability because now I'm spending money out of my own pocket, even if it is a fish fry or car wash, to put you in the ground. When, like you say, you get your life insurance policy, and, you ain't, listen, the older you get, the more expensive it's going to be for a whole host of reasons, and I'm assuming that gentleman there that was talking to us had life insurance because he was, he was smoking as he was going off on us about not having life insurance. But, since this is the money show, I'd like to have that conversation with you guys. And Walter, what you eating? Walter?
Say that one more time.
Oh, you ain't heard nothing we said. Did you hear his man?
No, I didn't hear the last part. No.
I said, so this is the money show. I said, but what are you eating?
You said, what am I eating?
Yes.
Oh, something that's going to make me need my life insurance. Yeah, I can't do Houston. The food here is, I think I gained 10 pounds here. I don't know how y'all people do it here. But no, I like what he said. The funny part is that's actually how you got to talk to some people. Like, geez, like be somebody. Don't just die and be that's it. We have, go to your funeral and have food and that's the end of you. And nobody talk about you again. At least leave something so we can remember you. We can afford to remember you. I mean, and we talked about that all the time. And life insurance is so cheap. You can get a policy for $75. If you're 50, $75, you can get a 10-year term for, $1 million. That's, that's beer money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can protect your family for what you and your boys go out and spend on happy hour. So that's easy. I mean, if you don't have life insurance and you can get it health-wise, then that's on you. I mean, you're just a horrible human being, in my opinion, to know and not do it. That's my opinion. I mean, that's the nice version of it. Because people die all the time and they don't leave nothing for their kids.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You want to close the wealth gap? Leave your family $2 million. Instructions on what to do, and ensure you're the people above you. Grandma, grandpas, mom, dads, uncles, aunts. Make sure everybody got insurance. You can have an incentive. So somebody older than you, most likely they will die first. They can create wealth. That's what a lot of, you heard homeboy. I don't have to repeat it, but it's an easy thing to do too. And it's a good feeling. Like I'm getting ready to hop on one of these planes here, but if for some reason, if I die on this plane, we get paid anyways. But if something happens to me, my family's getting a check. That's comforting to know that my kids will be set up. They'll be straight for the rest of their lives, assuming that they follow the plan. But I'm at least give them a shot. That makes sense.
No, absolutely. It does make sense. And no doubt, how you doing? He says I have a $500,000 are you well? He says I purposely pay $1,000 a premium toward the cash value monthly. I can put $29,000 a year to avoid the MEC rule, and I max it out yearly. And so
That's a great idea.
mhm.
That's a
Yep,
phenomenal idea. That's a leader right there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And look,
And another reason to have life insurance too, you guys, is the living benefits. You know, like I have my life insurance because if something happens, I have a stroke or heart attack, or I'm sitting on the couch, AIG will cut my family a check to pay for my staff, my help, my meals, my masseuses, whatever I need. And that, is huge. I see so many people have strokes and things, and can you imagine? You can't take care of yourself, and there's no money. You're just sitting on the couch. They ain't changed your drawers in 2-3 days. Your hair ain't been combed. You just sit. I mean, oof. Come on now, that's cheap. So if you don't care enough about the ones your friends and family, your loved ones, protect yourself. And if you do end up living, then your family can have the life insurance because what you don't want to do is be a burden on them health wise too. And I know that's popular, with a lot of people. Oh, my kids will take care of me. No, they won't. Especially these millennials. You be sitting on the porch with the animals, eating out the same bowl. These kids, shoot, the days of having your kids wipe your ass is over. So get you some life insurance so you can have somebody else do it.
right. And Tanil, you say, why is it so hard for our young folks to get life insurance? Are you talking? And I'm kind of talking loud because I know Walter. Walter,
No, go ahead.
can you see? Can you read it on the screen?
Let's see. What's that say? Why is it so hard for young folks to get? It's easy for young folks to get life insurance. The younger you are, the easier.
Yeah, and I think too. So if you're talking about as far as health wise or financially, it's actually easier because it's cheaper when you're younger. But are you saying like the ideology of them not wanting to get it? I'm gonna put Walter. I'll put you on mute just a little bit because I'm down yelling. So are you talking about the ideology of why they don't see the need to have it? Is that what you're saying? I think a lot, like if it's about that, a lot of young people just feel like, oh, I'm gonna live forever, right? I'm always gonna be here forever. I have time. I used to sell life insurance. I don't have the ability to sell it anymore, but there was an agent in my office who actually sold life insurance to a young guy. I think he was like 19. He saw the need to get it. And after he got his policy, I wouldn't even say it's maybe 2 weeks, he died in a boating accident. He died in a boating accident, and that policy paid out. So the point being is you don't know when your time is up, right? Now imagine if he didn't have any life insurance for whatever reason, that burden that it would have put on his family, to have to bury him. And now he didn't know he was going to die, I would imagine, but he got the life insurance. So, I just think a lot of young people just think, oh, I got time, I'll wait. A lot of older people think that. I don't think you should be an older person on the planet and not have life insurance. And I know some people say, oh, well, my job has life insurance. I have insurance on the job. Now, unless you got some different type of policy on the job where you're paying for it outside of the group insurance, because that's usually what jobs offer is a group insurance. You get a group rate, right? But we all know that once you leave that job, that insurance don't go with you. And so now you don't have insurance. Now, let's say, because these people really don't think about these things, right? Let's say you started working at that job when you were 20, okay? You got insurance when you got your, new employee stuff, health insurance, and your uniforms, you got all of that, right? Now, let's say 30 years later, at the age of 50, you're like, and all that time, I don't need any insurance because I got insurance on the job. I'm good. I ain't nothing gonna ever happen to me. You get fired or you get laid off. Now you're 30 years older, and now you got to go get insurance and get rated as a 50-year-old person. Now, within that 30 years, You might have had some surgeries. You might have gotten sick. You might have high blood pressure. You might have diabetes. So now you got all this stuff now that is going to work against you getting a good rate. And in a lot of cases, depending on what you have, you might even get flat out declined insurance. And so, yeah, you should have the insurance on the job because it's kind of free, right? It's cheap. It costs you nothing. But you should also have your own individual policy in case that job goes away. And especially now, we're seeing here in America that jobs are going away. The other day, Disney said they laying off 7,000 people. I thought Disneyland was the happiest place on earth, but now it ain't. So imagine all those people who are getting laid off. They didn't have insurance independent of, their employee benefits. Now they got to go get rated at the age and wellness or the lack thereof that they are now. See, a lot of people don't know that. They think, I got life insurance on the job, I'm good. But even if you retire, that insurance is more than likely is not going to go with you. So now you got to go spend some money out your pension or your retirement to go pay a high premium. Because now by the time we get to retire here in America on a job, you'll be 93 years old. And after a certain age, you can't even get insurance. So let me unmute you. Go ahead.
I said, what are the chances that you're going to die at work? Most people outlive their job. So even, never mind, I'm shut my mouth. So and I don't even know why this is such a complicated subject. You either love your family or you don't. And the AI is going to have your life insurance in the future anyway. If you're doing something that a computer can do, I mean, like people, man, with this chat, HTBT, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
You're saying it right.
People, writers, all kinds of people getting cut. I wouldn't be surprised to see the education system get hit. So, I mean, come on, get the life insurance so we can talk about something more fun. Like buying those stock options on Credit Suisse, which is trading at 88 cents. This is an $8 stock that's now at 88 cents. So I know, and I'm not saying you should do this, but this is something me and my sister did. What do we pay, like 6 cents an option to buy, options on Credit Suisse at $1? It's an $8 stock. So if it goes, we have options at $1. So we anything over $1 we keep, and as the stock moves from 86 cents, 88 at closing to $1, the option goes up, and anything over $1 we get. So if it goes to 3, you put in 6 cents, it goes to 3, you got $2. That's 33 times your money. So if you put $100 in that and it goes to $3, you end up with $3,300. I mean, there's some cool stuff going on right now. So, but you want to spend 20 years talking about life insurance, then you do that to your family. But in the meantime, what you should be doing is to get that out the way, and you need to start accumulating. The real estate market is going crazy, and it's not easy. I know we spent a week looking at real estate, and you just have to get in it and stay in it. It's a lot of work. But those are the things you need to be doing. And that's just for starters. I mean, shit. Owning a piece of real estate and state and buying some stocks and having life insurance, that's just the beginning. There's other things you're going to need, man. And y'all keep putting sleepy Joe Biden in office and nigga Bojangles to the left and the right of him. Man, Lord have mercy.
And let me say
Help
this.
us all.
Mm-hmm.
What you saying?
I was going to say this. I'll put you on mute. Tito, and how you doing? You say you're 51, I think you said, and you're still trying to get life insurance. You want to come on here, click the link, or just briefly kind of put what the issue is in the comment section, see if we can help you. Neither one of us have the ability to sell life insurance, but we do have some depth and breadth in the financial services industry. We both used to sell life insurance, and so maybe we could try to help you figure out what is going on. And Tanil, you say, I'm 52, and I encourage my adult sons to make sure they have it. Like you say, they think they have time. I have 7 grandchildren, and it's so important. Well, that's what I'm going to say to you, Queen. I'm going to say this to you. I have life insurance on my daughter, and I always have. And in fact, when my brother got into the life insurance industry, I was 24 years old. And I never forget, and I tell the story all the time. You know, I had a good job, and he came to my house, and he was like, you need life insurance. You know, when you first get in life insurance, you getting to everybody you know need life insurance, don't you? And I was like, nah, I'm good. You know, this is very ignorant. Mind you, I was 24. If something happened to my baby, I'm jumping in the casket with her, you know. And of course, eventually he was able to talk some sense into me. And I've been insured ever since. And my daughter's been insured ever since. She's 30 years old. And I have the same, I pay the same premium that I did when I got the life insurance for her back in the day. But the point that I'm making is, you know, you got grandbabies, and especially you can get baby insured when it's 10 days old. And the baby, and you'll pay that premium for that child until, you know, it passes, you know, at 100 years old, you know, you'll pay that same premium. So the point is, if you get a baby at 10 days old insured, let's say you get it $100,000, you're probably going to pay, I don't know, I'm just throwing something out there, very small amount. I would say under $20 for that policy. So I guess what I'm saying is, you know, until, even Gerber, you know, something is better than nothing. But the point that I'm making, you as being, you know, the grandmother, maybe you should get them insured. It's not your responsibility per se, but if they're young enough and you can afford it, you know, get some small policies and get your sons insured too. And this is the other thing I always say. I've seen this too. The baby mama fighting with the mama. You know, the mama done had a child insured from when he was a baby, right? God forbid he dies. Then you got the baby mama. Well, I just think I should get some money too, because you know that was my baby daddy. And I'm like, that lady ain't got to give you none of that money. That was her policy. If you see, there's a problem. Oh, I'm about to get in trouble, so maybe I shouldn't say it. You're letting people put stuff in you, but you're not protecting the person that's putting stuff in you. You know what I mean? So it's like you got a baby daddy and you ain't getting a life insurance on him at the very least. I mean, whose fault was that? That ain't his mama's fault. Because I've seen that. I've seen baby mamas fight with the mama over, well, I'm entitled to them. What about our babies? It's like, well, you didn't find it important to get insurance on him. I got insurance, and I'm gonna make sure my son is put away nicely. But as far as taking you off some money so you can be all right, now you might need to go get it like I got it. You know what I mean? So get your baby daddies, get your baby mamas insured. If you get married to somebody else, you are supposed to get your spouses insured, right? Outside of what their mom and daddy got. David, how you doing? I'm gonna bring you on here.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on with you?
Nothing much. How are you? I'm glad to talk to you, Demetri. It's the first time meeting you. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I just want to say you do such a great job.
Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that. What's on your mind?
Well, I was listening to your broadcast, and it's usually because I'm driving home, but I was listening to your broadcast, and I seen the title, you know, and the things about Steve Harvey and are we African or are we Indians or whatever this newfound thing is. And I won't take up time on your channel because I know you got a lot of people, but me, myself, I feel that we are from the diaspora. We are African people. We all have the blood. 90% of us are from West Africa. There may be some Indian, but truthfully speaking, not much. So, and in short, you know, we are African people. We are Black. We are here in America, and we need to just deal with it. That's what it is.
I mean, I agree with you, because at the end of the day, we all we got, you know.
We all we got. So if we're gonna, I mean, it's a romantic idea of the diaspora coming together. I'm with that. We may not get 100% of the diaspora, but if we can get 80, 90%, if we can stop all this bickering, I'm better than you, you better than me. We created hip hop, we didn't. You're not Black enough. You're too Black. Stop all that. Let's find common ground. Lots of Black Americans now are going to Africa, and it's too late. We linked in now. It's too late. I'm going next year. I'm going to South Africa. That's what me and my wife, that's going to be our first stop. So it's too late. Let's just get it together. Let's just all stop the bickering and the fighting, and let's just try to find common ground.
I absolutely agree. And let us know how you love South Africa. I went to South Africa and I cannot wait to go back. It is amazing. Amazing.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. We haven't, we're in the beginning stages now. So we're going to find us I guess we're going to do Johannesburg, because I've been listening to you and I heard a lot of other people say, if you go to South Africa, Joburg may be the first place you want to go. So that's what we're going to do.
Yep. Let us know how y'all like it.
All right. Thank you for the time. Wonderful show.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yep. The first person to call in. I don't know what's going in tonight, but we're going to be here about another 10, 15 minutes. I know, Walter, you got to catch your flight soon. But yeah, David said a word. You know, we all we got. So, and like you said, there's Black people in America that's going over to Africa and living, right? That's would be the goal for me, is to be like, you know, especially once I get my check. I saw, Black America, you know, if I ever get a chance to see you, I'm going to strangle you. Well, he says, let me see. I'm not letting any woman put insurance on me. Why not? Why not? I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice today. But why not? Well, what are you thinking here? All right, so let's see here. I want to go back to some of these other comments. Robert, I say, let's get the trillions on top of trillions on top of trillions on top of trillions in reparations, and we can live and die in our own country, and funerals will be free. Yeah, well, you know, if you have that kind of money, you definitely can pay for the funerals. And listen, funerals are not cheap. Funerals aren't cheap at all. I know they tell us, oh, you can get a cremation for $300. It's like, where? Okay. Okay, here we go. Y'all buckle up. Hold on to your seatbelts. Hi.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, all that. What's happening?
You tell me. What's this theory you got going on by not letting a woman insure you?
Man, do you see what's going on out here, man? These chicks are taking the Tic Tacs out of your pocket. You let a broad put some insurance on you, your life is surely gone. She gonna throw a toaster in the bath with you. It's gonna be hellfire and brimstone. Every time you turn the corner, she gonna be setting you up. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Women to nowadays, they just don't love men like they used to. It's no loyalty. They only have loyalty to themselves. Can I act like dudes.
Please. Let me let you in on something. You know, when somebody dies, right? They die, and especially if it's under suspicious circumstances, you know, the first couple of people they look at, the spouse, if they're married, and then if the beneficiary on their life insurance. So you go getting life insurance on people, and then they turn up dead. You're gonna be the first person they look at. And as my mom always said, there ain't no such thing as no perfect crime. So it would be dumb. Because I used to hear that. And so Black America, I will say, that's not the first time I've heard that from a man. And it usually was Hispanic men and brothers. I'm not gonna get nobody. She might try to kill me. Or I ain't gonna leave her rich. Or some poppy could come in. It's like, oh my God, how in the hell would you even know, right? You're dead. But that the beneficiary is the first person they're gonna look at. Where were you? What time were you there? What was your relationship like? Okay, well, we're gonna go interview everybody to see if y'all had any fights or you had any motives. So it's not as easy as she gonna throw the damn toaster in the bathtub with you.
I don't know. I just okay. So my instance, me and my ex-wife has been divorced. I don't know, 10, 12 years, right? Mm-hmm. We still together. We still live together. Everything is still this. Yeah, I see the side eye. Don't side eye me like that, woman. I don't. I have other people I touch. I don't touch her. Okay. So yes, we love each other, and I still take care of her. But like I say, she a rattlesnake. If she had the opportunity, she was mad because why is the life insurance in your brother's name? You'll kill me. It wouldn't be you. You'll have one of your boyfriends or somebody you know kill me. You'll get nothing from me.
So
ever.
let me ask you this, but you don't think because maybe one day you made her mad, she might smother you in your sleep for free?
No, if she can't get that close to me. but no, that wouldn't happen. I'm just talking about any form of monetary money. If it's a lot of women on their grind trying to get it, and they're trying to get it from men, because other than that, they don't have it.
But I'm telling you, listen, I know people kill people for life insurance policies all the time, but guess what? We'll read about it. We'll hear about their story on Cell Block H or, Deadly Women or something. So it's kind of really hard to get away with it because you kind of become suspect number one. That's where they go. Who was the beneficiary? Oh, they took out a policy recently, huh? Oh, okay. Well, we gonna start there. Now, I'm not saying there's not people that's stupid to do it, but listen, I think the premise is that you got insurance and somebody you trust is the beneficiary. And that's what I would always tell people. Make sure it's somebody you trust and make sure it's somebody that's going to do the right thing, especially if you have a life insurance, because like if your children are under 18, you can't not make them the beneficiary because they can't do anything with the money until they're an adult, right? So make sure it's somebody who ain't going to go off to the casino with your life insurance money and then leave your kids broke. So I think at the end of the day, you're doing the right thing. Okay, you don't trust her for various reasons, but I want to tell you there's a lot of women that are the beneficiaries on their husbands or baby daddy's policies, and they're not going to kill them.
I don't know. My ex-girlfriend, she was trying to, let's go down here. We need to get you life insurance. I was like, for what? I got life insurance through my job. This is when I was working in the casino. I got life insurance through my job. Well, I'm not on that policy. You right. You're not on that policy. And you're not gonna get a policy. Oh, I need well, that's not enough. You need 100,000 or 250,000. Why? So you can trip the riff with some skis ball after I'm gone? Stop playing, man. I'm not doing it. It's not a scam. Huh? Say it again.
How would you know she with a skis ball when you're gone? You gonna haunt her? You gonna,
I don't care. My life is not a come up for anybody but me. And this goes back to the same thing of, what I may or may not leave my children. My life is not a come up for your life is your individual project. Each person has a project or goals. So if you done been to Africa, you done been here, you done been there. Each person's life path journey is a little bit different. And I'm not funding anybody else's projects. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. I'm not a philanthropist like that.
Let me say this. You know what? I will say this. Black America, me and you probably don't agree on 95% of the things, but you know what? I got to give it to you. You come up here and you say whatever you want to say. So I have mad respect for you of that. But I will say this. There's a lot of good reasons to insure, at least, your baby mama to have insurance, or make sure that your children, especially if you have small children, that they are the benefactors of that life insurance. Because think of this scenario. You die. You won't. You'll be here for a long time, Black America, but I'm just saying. And now your wife, let's say you're married or whoever you're with now, y'all have a child together. You were, I don't know, maybe you were taking care of her for the most part, and now she doesn't have any income, but you didn't get her any life insurance. So now she takes up with Poppy or, whoever. And that man might not be a good man. So now your children are under the same roof with a man who may not be a good man because she was desperate. She's like, well, I need somebody help, take care of us, take care of the house or whatever. Or she goes out and she gets 11 jobs because she's got to try to maintain things that you are maintaining. Now you're not. But imagine how much easier that life insurance will make it, where she could say, well, you know what? I don't have to rush and get a new relationship right now and in bed with a man who may beat me or the kids. And I don't have to go out and be absent from the lives of my children by working a bunch of jobs because my man took care of us now that he's not here. That's kind of the way I would think of it.
Okay, so I understand you saying that, but so my mother and father was married until the day my dad passed. Okay, I'm talking about he was in the bed and we was all there like 8 to the day my dad passed. All right, and so she deserves to be taken care of for the rest of her life, which she is. She got his retirement, she got his pension. She travels all around the world. You don't have women that are willing nowadays to put in the 30 and 40 years. I'm sorry. I'm 50, you 50. If we got married and you died in 4 years, you didn't put enough time in. I'm sorry. You have to put, what is a retirement plan? If you work a job, how long do you get to retire in?
Yeah, I mean, if you work, let me jump in. The retirement plan is a separate issue. I think the thing we need to address, and I mean, like me, I have 6 kids. I don't care if they baby mama married, couldn't function, and dated all of them in the van. I'm gonna make sure my kids are taken care of. As a matter of fact, I have so much life insurance because I don't trust their mamas. First of all, you can leave your shit to a bank. Life insurance companies will spread the payout over 20, 30 years for you. So you don't even have to leave it to anybody. The insurance company will pay it out for years. I mean, I have insurance on me, everybody around me, my kids. And I ain't talking about $50,000. $50,000 ain't going to do shit. I mean, it may help bury you and help you a little bit. But I mean, I'm talking if you are an adult and you got kids, your kids need to have $2, $3, $4, $500,000 for starters. And then as you can afford it, like having $1 million policy on a 25-year-old ain't shit. Because they get older, they get diseases they won't be able to get anymore. And here's the other thing too. If I'm a grandparent, my kids need to have insurance too, because if they die, guess who's going to be taking care of that kid? You know what I'm saying? And I need to make sure that they leave enough money so I can still do what I do and hire me a nanny or two. So when we go to France and Spain, I can afford to take everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that and life insurance is so cheap, and Black people, we are never going to close this wealth gap. Ever, ever, ever. So we can just skip that part. That's a fucking dream. But like we could start by plugging some of these holes. You know what I'm saying? Like my ex-wife, my sister would tell you, we got along. The sky was blue. She said it was yellow. But what I don't want to do is have Morgan, Evan, my 6 kids out there struggling. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it has nothing to do with their mamas whatsoever. Matter of fact, if I die, my life insurance, my ex does not get it. It goes to one of my other kids. I have it, all kinds of shit going on. And that's because I care about my family enough. And so many Black people, we leave our kids out in the wind, funeral, passing the bucket, the chicken dinners, and our kids don't have a chance. So for me, I was like, it makes sense to spend $300, $400 to have $1 million, $2 million in life insurance. To say, you know what? I love my family enough. And we ain't gonna never fill this wealth gap, especially doing this, if we don't have insurance. So that's just, and it's just one of those selfless things that you just do. You know, I mean, like I said, I have 6 kids. So I couldn't imagine not being here, but I know what my kids, something happened to me, they're going to be millionaires and they're going to be straight and they're going to have a plan of action to invest and ain't going to be no shit. And if you with a woman you love, here's the other thing, you know, you want to make sure she's taken care of and she's got the kids. Like my sister said, if she has a check, she ain't got to be in no hurry. I meet so many people that they've lost a loved one and her ass is on the pole. He on the pole because y'all got equal rights now. And it's a hot mess. Versus saying, you know what? The father left us $2 million and I don't have to date none of these dudes. We can just sit here and chill, not make no moves, and just relax. But as of right now, we're not in the position to do that. It's heartbreaking too because we could totally afford it. Some of us got beautiful cars and jewelry, and we do all kinds of shit. $2,000 bags. I'm in an airport right now. I see more D girls with LV on their bag, shoes, hats everywhere. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? We pushing the foreigners. You know, if you want to do AIG is a foreign company, get with them and get some life insurance. That's my final thought.
So you about to board your plane?
I got a few minutes. I just didn't have nothing else to say about the subject.
Okay, I'm about to say, don't miss your plane, brother. Don't miss your plane messing with us. Yeah, so Black America, does any of that other information help? And listen, I don't want to ignore your concerns because, like I said, I sold life insurance for years, and I don't think there's an excuse that I haven't heard. And I don't want to say it's an excuse. I think for a lot of people, it's a legitimate fear. But I mean, I guess it kind of goes in hindsight and settle down to a good choice type of thing. I don't know, but my main concern was not, leaving my daughter unprotected. You know what I mean? When I got my life insurance for myself or for her, I thought, because she was very young, and I was like, well, if I was to die today, I would want her to have a great graduation. I want her to go to the college of her choice. I want her, to be able to pay for her wedding or whatever, even though I'm not here. So I wouldn't want her to struggle. And the other thing, this is another thing we don't really think about too, is when we go, let's say, I go and her dad leaves here. We all leave here. I've left my daughter with somebody and I ain't leave them no money. So they probably not, they're probably not going to treat her as kind. They're always going to think about them having a dig in their pocket because her raggedy mama and daddy didn't leave no money. So now I got to pick up the bill to take care of their child because they were irresponsible. That for whatever reason, they didn't think she was worthy enough to have some money. Because when you have money, people treat you better, right? I can imagine my daughter going to live with her auntie, and she's like, "Oh, I just love it." My daughter, my sister loved my daughter anyway, like her own daughter. But I would imagine the love would intensify because I left her with a nice amount of money to make sure that they are both taken care of now, right? Like my sister would be in a good mental space, not knowing now she got to go hustle to take care of not just herself, now another mouth to feed. So we got to think about that stuff too. That's like, for example, I don't know if y'all heard the story of on Facebook where the sister killed her husband on Facebook in front of the 4 children and her mama. Now,
exactly. No life insurance.
Yeah, but right. So now the mama, for what I didn't see the video because I didn't want to see it, but what I understood, the mama was egging it on. Now I don't know how true it is. It's kind of what I heard. Now, did either one of them have life insurance? Now, I know the mama, she's going, to the clink for life, but did the daddy have life insurance? So now she was egging the mama on. Now you got 4 babies to take care of that you didn't have to take care of before that very moment. Was there life insurance on the father? So,
well, I mean, the man, I did see a little bit of that on the Crimson Cure the other day. It was very disheartening. It was very sad. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you, that you and me, we're older, we're dinosaurs. We're not out in these streets what these people are doing. My little brother's a firefighter, and he goes into horrible houses and see terrible things every day. And I mean, terrible, terrible things. And these women, everybody think, oh, it's the men doing this. Men are bad, but men are supposed to be bad. We are absolutely supposed to. It's hard to go rush into a fire. It's hard for somebody to drive a truck 15 hours a day. It's hard for a police officer to have to take a bad guy down. Men have to be horrible people, but women are seditious. They're supposed to be softer. So when they're doing these things, it makes it more emotionally driven, and it's bad, D. It's bad. I'm telling you. That's why I say we don't have a community anymore. There's no such thing as the black community. It's some black people, and then, like Chris Rock said, it's N words. I don't want to. You told me I can't say the N words on your show, so I ain't gonna say it. It's black people, and then it's N words. There's no more community.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and we need to start working toward that. And I don't. I don't know if some of y'all get the impression that I think that women do no wrong. Here, listen, I'm a woman. I know all about women, okay? So one thing I ain't never gonna do is lie to y'all. I'm more even of the road. We all got issues, right? But I would never tell y'all, oh, black women, no, we're just innocent. We're just sitting here on the cloud in a halo. No, I ain't never gonna say that. Because sometimes I have some sisters say, and do this silly stuff to me. So I get it. But I just think that we all need to work on each other. But at the end of the day, like Walter said, as he's getting on the plane, that's going to help us close the wealth gap and help us have a sense of community. When we have money, we can commune a little bit better, right? It's hard to get together with people who ain't got no money because we all looking at each other like, well, have y'all ever gone to dinner with a bunch of people, everybody ordering everything? I'm getting a lobster, I'm getting a steak. Then when the bill comes, it's like, oh, I ain't got no money. Well, you was ordering like you had some money.
Since I'm with a bike group, I go to dinner quite often with large groups, and I'm gonna tell you what, I got a pair of rich friends, I got a pair of friends that go to work every day, and I got a pair of friends, and I'm talking about friends who I see on a daily or weekly basis that have absolutely nothing. I mean, the ones that are like actually living in the tunnels under Vegas. And it's different being around all of them. And what people don't need to realize is that you giving to somebody else out of the kindness of your own heart, you're not supposed to be looking for stuff. Family, they look for stuff back. Well, if I give this, I need to get that. It's not, it don't seem right to me.
Yeah, we just, but I agree with you. I mean, we have to change our mindset, but regards, and BJ, how you doing? I'm gonna give you the last word because we about to actually get out of here.
Oh, I figured that out. How's everybody going? Everything's good. Everything's good. I'm just gonna say from the perspective of this is 2023, and anytime things change, it never reverses back. We're in inflation, rents everywhere are going up, so we have to move differently. From the 80s and the 90s, it was all about being independent. Well, now I don't know how many people are six figures ain't even enough, especially if you're at the low level of six figures to be able to pay a $1,200 a month rent. And that's not even the best neighborhoods. So if you want your children to have better, you have to make more. And if you can make 300,000 with no worries, then yeah, you could be as independent as you want to be. But if you thinking about bringing kids into a $300,000 salary, those numbers dwindle really, really fast.
Yeah, and you know what? You're absolutely right. Because Walter and I, we spent last week looking for real estate, and we did go to the 3rd and 5th wards here in Houston, and we visited. I forget what kind of houses they call it. I want to say like a shotgun house, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah. The ones that. Yeah, like a row houses.
Yes, that's what they were. And I'm gonna tell you, I love our people. I was just so saddened because the houses, it was 4 of them that we were looking at. They were on the market. I'll put you on Black America. There you go. They were on the market, and so they let us come in and see the houses, and you could tell that the houses had not been renovated probably ever, right?
Exactly.
Ever. But they were paying like almost $900 a month to live there. And I'm telling you, there's garbage everywhere. And it was just like the community was just so left behind. And I was like, our people deserve better.
Yeah, I mean, because again, our politicians are funding these developments. Again, where I'm at, they have literally keep people like that in those homes as holding blocks. And when they're ready to redevelop, they can easily push them out the way level it in a matter of minutes, because it's not like back in the past where building would take you years to build up structures. Now they can do it in months.
Yep.
And literally, we're not seeing that they're playing the long game. And if you don't move your chess pieces right, your pawn will be knocked off the board really, really fast.
Can I say something right quick?
Absolutely.
So I'm listening like the lead attorney with a good ear. I heard her say that they keep people there for years. Is that the way you feel? Like they keep people in those degraded states in those housing for years? You
Yes,
don't think?
because if you think about a slum landlord, they want to get income. They don't want that building to be standing empty. That building stays empty, it gets degraded. So you leave these people in there where they're paying low rents. I don't have to fix on this property. I don't have to do anything because they're waiting on the long game. The city sits up there, have development plans. They know they're getting federal funding, and they're like, when are we going to do this project? Oh, well, the funding has been, tied up. We're gonna have to wait for another year. We're gonna have to wait for this to get. Oh, we're gonna have to wait for the cleaning of this land. So they leave these people in there
Miss BJ,
until things are going to be set, and they're like, okay, now
Miss
we're ready
BJ,
to start
that's not what I was saying.
cutting the
Miss
check.
BJ, that's not what I was saying.
Then what are you
You
saying?
What I'm saying is you said they leave people there. Those people, once again, I got homeless friends. Those people leave their own selves there. I have listen, I have a program. We got 20 homeless people apartments. Do you know that none of those homeless people stayed in those apartments more than a month?
Of course, because they don't know.
Because
If you're not,
listen,
if what I'm saying is that you cannot just take a homeless person who don't have the skills on how to take care of themselves, because I've been homeless for years. This is what I'm used to, and think
right,
I give you a key and then
right.
you can be independent.
So
There's
so it's
there's
so it's
steps
not
that have to
them.
be taken
So it's
before, and
not
not
them.
everybody is going to be able to some may be able to readjust their way of living and be able to succeed at it, but
Right.
many may not.
Many have a stupid mindset and they're going to keep on the same hamster wheel. Those people don't. So those places are supposed to be, hey, you're homeless. All right, you come here, stay here for a couple of months and then progress and proceed. Those people, they not keeping those people there. Those people are paying $8 a month rent and have an $8 an hour job. Those people should be saving up, but
Well,
instead a lot of those people are smoking weed, drinking, doing meth, and all of these other things. So those people are keeping themselves there. I don't
Well,
have any sympathy.
I mean,
Listen,
yeah,
Well,
listen.
you correct in that, but
let,
also you have to understand that the system which create, because again, when I grew up, there was no homelessness. Now all of a
let,
sudden, you got homelessness everywhere. Somebody is benefiting from those people smoking the meth, smoking the weed, and living under the viaduct.
but let me say this. So I get where BJ is saying. And I understand it even more so now because me and Walter kind of was having a discussion about it. I was like, because the properties are for sale, right? Somebody's going to buy those properties. Now, obviously, whoever buys those properties are going to buy it for more than the person before us had them paid, right? So in order for us to buy it, whoever buys it, they're going to have to raise the rent to make some sort of a profit, right? It's just a fact that so regardless of who buys it, those people are probably already, for whatever reason, right, stretched to their max. They cannot afford to pay more. So the next person that buys it is going to have to rent it, raise the rent, and those people will be misplaced. So I kind of get where BJ is going because it's like, in a way, I don't want to say they're stuck because I don't know what they're doing as far as work or whatever their situation may be. The lady we went and visit, she was disabled and she was visibly disabled, right? So I don't know what her ability is to go secure a job. She had 4 babies. So can she afford to be misplaced or pay more rent if we were to buy it and we need to try to make a profit and then we have to raise the rent? So I get where BJ is going with that. And so $800, $850, $900, a lot of money to pay where they were. and whoever buys is going to have to pay, raise the rent on them. So it is an unfortunate vicious cycle. And then some of those people will probably end up homeless if the rent is raised. So I just said for myself, for me, I don't know, cut out to do it because I don't have that killer instinct like that. I'm too much of a let's see, Walter looking too much of a bleeding heart. It was sad to me. I had to go get in the car. You know what I mean? So it's sad.
Yeah. And again, I understand what your perspective is that people have to change their mindset and do better. But a lot of people, they get stuck and then they don't know how to get themselves out of their situation. And yet the world is continuously moving. And if you don't change your mindset and your way of thinking, a lot of people are going to be left behind. Yeah. And that's where we're sitting at right now. A lot of people, because from the banks, I could see another bank crisis is on the verge. And if we have not prepared for this, a lot of people, 2008 maybe look like a cakewalk.
Yep, we see it unfolding. But yes, Jan Michael, we are all about the tap out. I see Walter looks like he is getting on the doggone plane. So
thank you for letting me.
I'm standing in this line. I don't know why they do this to us. Make us rush our ass over here and then stand in this line like cows, like herd. I mean,
and then sit in the seat for 20 minutes before it takes off.
The gate in this line. Jeez, Louise, look at this.
You
it's like that both ways.
Yeah, don't film those people.
They ain't worried about it.
Right. So anyway, we're gonna let y'all all get out here. Enjoy your rest of the evening. BJ, thank you so much for coming on. Black America is always a pleasure. And it is actually. It's becoming more of a pleasure, I must say. Walter, thank you so much for coming on here. I know you're jumping on the plane, getting ready to go back home. So on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, I love and appreciate you all for being here. Such a pleasure. Maybe next time you guys will click on the link and come on and state your piece. And I'll put Artemis's comment up last. From Facebook, it says the church is getting these tax breaks along with our tithes. Millions, they could buy these rundown homes and lease them out through Section 8. Half of these preachers are not educated in economics 101, which they are very basic. And I will say this, wherever we went in our neighborhoods, the church house was the most well taken care of house in those communities. And we actually went on Sunday and our parking lots were all full. And right around the corner from them, houses were, if you blew on them, it seemed like they would fall down. And so you're absolutely right, Artemis. They should be building homes and taking care of the homes in that area, because I'm sure those people go to the church. So
yeah, that's crazy.
It is, but it's true. Y'all go to the neighborhoods, y'all check it out. It's 2 or 3 4 churches in a block, not even a half a mile radius, but those are the nicest buildings in the neighborhood. So
yeah. And then that's why I discovered that this is all being done by design. And if we don't wake up and do things differently, we're all going to be messed up. So we have to start thinking smarter.
Yeah.
You guys take care and have a wonderful trip, Walter.
He already clicked off, but thank y'all so much.
He already jumped on the plane on y'all.
Right. Out of here. So I'll see y'all on Sunday. Me and Donovan. You guys take care. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace out. Take care.
Peace.